And going from there, what was uh what was it like kind of moving to the States when and what was the driver for that for you?
I mean, I always wanted to leave the country. Um, just kind of seeing like I had friends older than me, like even like bands like Ulcerate or Donna Bazazel. Um, you know, they were doing well and they would tour, but it was just such an effort. Even just to leave the country, it's like you're spending thousands of dollars each before you even set foot here. So it just seemed easier to start in the States, or I was considering Europe as well, um, but yeah, I mean, just I went on a couple of trips before moving. I went I think to Germany and Holland, and went to a few metal fests, and then went to America maybe a year or two later, and I was just kind of like scoping out where I wanted to move to, and it just seemed like people were doing more of what I wanted to here, like just kind of had more in common with the music scene, and like a lot of my favorite bands are based here, so it just sort of made more sense. And then obviously like the language barrier isn't there, which makes it easier. So
It does definitely make it easier. That's so then you decide to move to New York and I guess you kind of hit the ground running. Um
yeah, actually I moved to
my or was
Florida.
it Miami first?
Yeah, Miami.
Miami.
So yeah, that was where like I was playing in Geigen. They were based in Tampa. So we would like commute, like the other guitarist, he was in Fort Lauderdale as well. And so we'd drive to Tampa for rehearsal and then go touring. And that was right when I moved. I was only 21, and been in the country like maybe a month, and then I'm like out on the road in a van. And so it was like a really good boot camp, like, right from the start.
Interesting. I also find it interesting that you went to Miami first. It doesn't really strike me as like an avant rock jazz metal scene.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, it's not not what you'd expect, eh?
yeah, I guess going to Miami when you're 21 sounds pretty fun though. I mean, what was why Miami first? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I had a boyfriend there, which was the main impetus, and then ended up playing the bands there. So, but originally my plan, I was like, yeah, I could go there for 6 months, and then I'll probably move, and then it ended up being 10 years. So,
That'll happen. And then
yeah, yeah,
so you moved here in 2018 though, correct?
yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, but well, welcome here. I guess you've been here for longer than me, but how so then what was it like getting into the New York scene? What was like kind of lockdown like for you? Because that's when you actually released the first album in 2020. Um, what was what was going on around that time getting you into this?
Yeah, so I mean, moving here just kind of made sense. Like when I was planning on getting out of Miami, like I realized I had more friends up here than any other city. So, and I'd also been flying up here for shows and rehearsal, and just seeing what was going on here was mind blowing. And I was like, I need to be here. Like this is amazing. There's so much stuff happening, and everyone was like super open minded and welcoming, and they're all like world class players. And um, so yeah, I came up, and I was telling a story about getting sort of meeting Trevor, Kenny, and Matt, and getting the band going. And we recorded the first album in like summer 2019, and we were getting everything set to roll out. And then um, had the vinyl and production and all that. And um, I guess we were sort of weighing up, like, do we wait this out, or do we just release it? And it just seemed like the right thing to do to put it out then, because um, no one had anything to do, and it seemed like there was actually a lot of focus on music and creatives, and people were being really supportive of the arts at that time. And so I think it ended up working out well. I mean, it was disappointing that we couldn't tour for it, but I think it still had the intended effect, and we were able to do like a live recording at least, like a
Yeah.
live video.
What was the recording process like? I guess for both albums, how'd you get into it? Because like you guys do some really awesome effects and stuff, different ways of recording, making stuff sound like it's coming from different directions.
Mhm.
Um, that's not like a easy thing to do. So where were you recording these and how did that come about?
So we recorded both albums with Colin Marston in Woodhaven. Um, and his place is great because he has this big live tracking room. So we're able to like be in the room with each other, and because we have like a lot of visual cues too. So it's good if you can, have eye contact to do that. Um, I mean, as far as the panning, I mean, those are effects we sort of put in afterwards in the mix with Colin, and but also, having the separation of the instruments, like in the second album, like you have the two basses going, and
Mhm.
there's some parts where it's like intentionally, like we split the riff in two, so like it would start on the left, like say Trevor, and then go to the right with Matt playing it, and so there's some kind of like, I guess you'd call it like manual panning going on there. Um, but yeah, most of the time we would just play like the whole thing through. We'd try to play sort of like one take, play it live, and then go back in, edit, overdub if we needed to. There were a few times, we'd punch in a whole section together, but for the most part, we were trying to make it sound like a live, organic experience.
Yeah, and it sounds so. They sound both albums sound really big. I love that, and which is pretty cool because I mean, you recorded it live, being in the same room, but it definitely has that like very produced, awesome big sound for it. So it's pretty cool that you guys were able to get that effect playing